Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka Batbomb82, and today I'll be doing a review of the Super7 TMNT Ultimates Donatello. Now, as you can see, the figure comes in that standard box with a green slipcover with that really cool sewer lid of an image of Donatello. And if we remove the slipcover, we can see that the figure is showcased in a standard Ultimates window box packaging with that really cool green brick-like motif. And if we turn the box around, we can see more of that green brick-like motif with some really cool graffiti art, as well as a short bio for Donatello. So with the box out of the way, let's go ahead and crack this figure open and let him breathe. Alright guys, now let's take a closer look at the new Ultimates Donatello figure. Super stoked to finally have this guy in my collection as he finally completes the four brothers in Ultimates form, so I'm super stoked about that, and I love the way this looks, man. He just looks so good. I always love how they're sculpting this, how they're painting. He has that darker skin tone, which looks really great. That really deep purple, which I think looks killer. His front shell has a little bit of shading there with the airbrush, looking really cool. I love the texture of the belts and the straps, how it goes across like that, looking really good. The D with the belt buckle looking really good. You know, this is a big reuse of parts, of course, because all four turtles are going to share a lot of the same parts, but it still looks really good. The shell here looks great. I always love how the back shell looks on all four turtles. They all utilize the exact same sculpt because you can see the same scratches right there on the back. And then same thing with the harness right there, looking good with all that texture. Man, you can see even little nicks on like the elbow pads and things like that, man. So that looks so good, dude. Great vintage head sculpt. Oh my god, I'm so freaking happy about this. Again, I was just waiting to complete the brothers. I feel like it's taken about probably a couple years to finally get all four brothers, but he's finally here, and I'm very happy to add him to the collection. So now moving on to the accessories. Here we of course get interchangeable hands. You got gripping hands, you got more open palm hands for stylized posing. You did get things like closed fisted hands, and pretty much everything you're going to need for this figure, which works out really great. We also do get the little turtle comm right here in a closed form, which looks really good. If my big fat fingers can hold this, I always have a problem with my fingers, man. So that looks really cool too. Then we have it in an open form as well, looking great. The colors and all the paint look awesome, so I love this accessory. And of course, he's the one that created the turtle comm, so he's got to have that. We get cool things like the vintage toys did with that little hook sword kind of weapon like that. We got the little hand pike like so. We get this fisted bladed weapon, things like that. Those are great. We even get two of the little throwing stars, the shurikens or ninja stars, whatever you want to call them, done in a really nice silver, looking really, really cool. We also do get a slice of pizza, so you got to have a pizza with a turtle, so I think that's really great as well. And I think every turtle came with a slice of pizza, so that's pretty cool. And then, of course, we also do get two of his signature bow staffs. These are fantastic. I love how these turned out, man. I love how they're not like perfect straight weapons. You can clearly see like they're made of wood, they're a little bent, how a little more natural. The wrapping looks really good. There is a wash in the paint right here that works really good. And they also holster into his back right here very nicely, like butter, man. I love that. And then one thing I do appreciate is, like, especially in the vintage figures, this harness piece is broken or torn on a lot of vintage Donatellos because it was too tight, and trying to get the bow staff in would rip it. So you see a lot of turtles sold like on eBay and things like that where this harness is actually broken off, but this goes in there very nicely and it holds it up very well. And if you put it in there, like, it's not coming out, it's gonna stay in there really good, and I think that just looks super cool. But one of my favorite accessories is going to be the alternate head sculpt. I think that looks great. I love how they're doing this whole thing where, like, they give it a vintage head, and then they give it their own like original sculpt, more modern head, so you could do like a more modern version of it, the character if you want to, or just go straight vintage toy. I love that. Me personally, I have them all displayed with the vintage toy heads. These modern ones are great, so if you have the option, I think it's really cool. You know, and I'm always a sucker for more options. Again, both of them look very nice. This one definitely looks more realistic, or more like a comic book. This one is definitely more vintage toy, so it's really cool having both options. And then the last thing we're going to get is, of course, that awesome vintage weapons rack that comes with every turtle. Every figure looks really good. All the weapons done in that classic like brownish orange color, which I always thought looked great. But this is awesome, man. The fact that they even did this looks really cool. So if you want to go straight up vintage toy without having like the fully painted weapons, you know, you can go just in those casted weapons, just like the original toys did. So I think that looks super cool. For me, I like leaving these on here, the little tree right here, and the little this weapons rack, because I like displaying them like this on the shelf with the turtles and all the other figures, man. So I love that, the fact that they did this. That's super cool. So now moving on to the articulation here. The head is on a ball joint, rolls all the way around. It does turn left and right, up and down, and then pivot side to side. Arms can go full 360, up and out that far, rotation at the bicep. We do get a single bend at the elbow. We also get rotation at that elbow. Actually, no, we don't. I'm a freaking liar. Rotation at the wrist, as well as a hinge at the wrist. We actually do get a ball peg in the midsection here, and you can kind of feel it rolling around. You can see how it is sectioned off, but you can get left and right. You can get it crunching forward, back and forth a little bit, as well as a little bit of pivoting. Not a whole lot, but there is some there. Hip joints that kick forward that far, back not so much. Splits all the way out very, very nicely. Rotation in upper thigh. Single bend at the knee. We also do get rotation at the knee. Ankles go up, down. We can rotate a little bit, but a really sweet ankle rocker. So overall, you know what, one thing I'll notice too, the legs compared to some of the earlier figures do feel a lot better, so I'm hoping that's something they're improving, because the legs were not all that great, man, in some of those first couple waves. They were very loosey-goosey. These feel a lot tighter, so I do appreciate that. And I'm so happy about this. Donatello, you gotta have the four brothers, man. And Donatello is such a cool character. He's obviously the smartest turtle. He's the one giving the turtles all the cool gadgets and the vehicles. I mean, he is a very important part of the team and the brothers. I'm so happy to finally complete them. He is rad and totally a must get. So for a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and Mafex Batman figure. Also for comparison, here he is standing next to the vintage Donatello from Playmates. And for even more comparison, here he is standing next to all his brothers, also from Super7. And just for fun, here he is with little Lego Bat Bomb. So there it is, guys, my review of the Ultimates Donatello. And man, I cannot express how much I love this action figure. The vintage TMNT line is my all-time favorite toy line, and I love those toys as a kid, and I still love them as an adult today. So seeing what Super7 has done to upgrade and update those vintage figures that I loved so much as a kid, man, I'm so mind blown, especially now that I can complete all four Ninja Turtles. Again, some of my favorite toys of all time. Seeing all four together is amazing. I love what they did with Donatello, all his gadgets and interchangeable parts. I love the colors used. I love the fact that they give us a vintage toy head and a modern head. I think that's really cool too. The articulation feels very nice. Again, the legs do feel a little better than they have been before, so I love that. And again, Donatello is just such an intricate part of the team. I'm so stoked to have him. He's rad, he's totally cool, and a definite must get. So be excellent to each other, and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.